everyone. Thanks so much for joining this training session. Super excited that y'all are going to join us at Adamson High. We have been there all semester, and really we're just doing kind of a semester wrap, intentional life plan. And we're super excited to have additional volunteers for this, working one-on-one with the students, because this is where we really dive in and have them wrap everything they've learned for the semester and then create that intentional life plan. And it may sound kind of complicated because y'all haven't been with us, but what I've done is I've put together a PowerPoint deck that I'm going to review with the students at the start of class on Wednesday. Y'all will have this. I'll send this via PDF to everyone on the call. After the call, I'll hit a couple key points on the PDF so you can see kind of at a high level what they've learned. And then at the end, we'll show you what that intentional life plan looks like and how you'll help the students complete it. And we'll have slide reference numbers on the life plan. So you'll see how it all comes together. I'll just kind of walk through it and we'll do questions at the end. So before we get started, I know there's some on the call who haven't met me. I'm Lainey Wingert. I am co-founder and executive director for Ignite Mindshift, and this has been my class for the semester, so I know these students really well. I'm super excited to have y'all join. And so where we started, we taught them 5 different topics. The first one was mindset for success, and that's just a foundational topic for us to teach students to think in a different way, how really successful people across all business, celebrity status, from a sports perspective, or even like an actor perspective, people from all sorts of walks of life have taken some of the same mindsets. And sometimes you'll hear these called different things. Like, I'll give you a quick example, something like an everything is figure outable mindset. You as adults, the students may have not heard of that as a mindset in terms of a term, but they've learned that that's basically just everything that I come across in life. If I really want to do, if I'm really passionate about it, I can figure out a way to do it. Whether I call on different people as mentors or I get different resources, if there's a way, if there's really a passion behind it, there's a way that I can do it. And so this will be kind of a key slide when I send out the PDF for y'all to kind of reflect on. And then some of these, I have some backup slides, like growth mindset is a term. I know some adults have heard that, some have not. It's very foundational for us. So I have a couple backup slides that you can take a peek at as well. And again, we'll cover this in the session and have the students help review. So that first one, fixed versus growth mindset, it's really just whether you have a fixed mindset that people just have a set IQ, set talent. They're the ones that are gifted. They had all the breaks in life. That's not me. Or you can have a growth mindset that says, hey, I may have started here, but I can learn what I need to do. I see challenges as an opportunity for learning. So it's really a kind of a base mindset that opens all the other mindsets. And we learned through the course that successful people take a growth mindset. So you'll see in the end how this relates to the life plan. With this question, we're really just asking them, are you committing to take overall a fixed or a growth mindset? And we hope that most of them will choose growth mindset. So it's really not super hard. It's just them reflecting on what they learned and having you as volunteers help talk them through what mindset they want to take. And then another one is obstacles make me stronger. And there's basically 3 ways we taught them that a person can look at an obstacle or failure. You can either dive and just totally give up. You can kind of survive, just handle it effectively, or you can thrive and really seek out obstacles and challenges, in school, take those harder classes at work. That would be, kind of take that promotion. And so then we're going to have them work with you to determine how do they want to go about life and look at obstacles. Hopefully they'll choose thrive. And then one of the easiest ways to switch from a fixed to a growth mindset, because that's one of the things we're passionate about with our students, is we don't just want to give them all these concepts because it can be very overwhelming. We want to come out with every concept and give them a very quick way on how they can implement it quickly. And so for a growth mindset, one of the most powerful ways that they've learned is if they find themselves saying, I can't do this, I'm not good at math, I don't know how to, whatever it is, they just add the word yet at the end. So I can't do this yet. I'm not good at this yet. And there's actually some brain science behind this that we taught them on why that's powerful, because your brain really believes a lot of things that you tell it. And so if you say, I'm not good at this, it shuts down. If you say, I'm not good at this yet, there's an opportunity and it keeps thinking in the background. of how you could do it. And so there's a lot of science behind it, but it's really simple. I can't do it yet. And so on the life plan, you'll see that there's a simple question with that, and we'll look at that in a minute too. We talked about goal setting and how people who write down their goals are 40% more likely to achieve them. So we did an activity where we took all these, is it 6? I'm forgetting, 7 different categories and had them come up with a goal for each of these categories. They're going to reflect on that, reflect on, sometimes months later, students have different goals, like we all probably do. So really what they're doing now is saying, hey, when we did this activity before, I still like those 3, like my 3 top life goals, and I'm going to put those down, or you know what? Kind of changed since then, and here's my 3 life goals. And we have them do that at the top of the page so that can drive some of the other things in the life plan. And so here's just some examples of all these categories. And then we spent a lot of time talking about limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are beliefs that hold you back from achieving your potential. And it's not necessarily true. A lot of times we think that everything we believe is true. And we taught the students how that's not really true. If you think I'm not good at math, we have a volunteer on the call, Allie, who talked about that, how she didn't believe she was good at math. And that's a very common one for students, by the way. Just because she had people in her family that were just really, really good at math. And she's discovered that she's not bad at math. And so we talk through those beliefs. Sometimes the beliefs are things like, I don't believe that I can go to college because I'm a first-generation college student. So that was one of mine when I was a teen. So we basically did an activity to have the students kind of snap a rope and break that core belief. And so now we're just asking them to reflect on that and reiterate what the flip side of that, which is what we call an empowering belief, is. So on the life plan, we're asking them to kind of restate that empowering belief that we talked about a couple weeks ago. But again, they could have also learned since then and also said, you know what? I actually have a new one that I want to have as empowering belief. And again, that's going to be something like, I can go to college, even though I don't know how to pay for it now, or I can get better at math. That's what an empowering belief is. And then these are just examples of limiting beliefs. So you see the flip side. That's more for y'all. And then this is another example of how we take those limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs. And again, we'll review this in class for the students, but this will be something if y'all want to flip through in the PowerPoint so you can understand what we really mean between the difference of limiting and empowering belief examples. We also have a question on what their top 3 values are. We went through this a couple weeks ago in a identity and personal brand module. They've already gone through this exercise. They have an even longer list of values they can choose from. This was just kind of the short list. So again, they can just copy over what they wrote a couple weeks ago, or they can say, you know what? I kind of reflected on this and I heard some other people in class talk about a value. And now these are my 3 values. So really you're just working with them to kind of finalize that list on Wednesday. We use that. This is kind of, we're not going to go through this activity again today, but this is just for y'all's understanding. When we talked about personal branding, we started with those values, and then we had them determine what do they want their appearance at school to be like? What do they want to talk about on social media? What makes them unique, to really start to get that personal brand that they want as a high school student. Again, we're not going to go through this. I just wanted y'all to see kind of what we did with those values, just for reference. We also talked about characteristics of a resilient person. Growth mindset comes up again. Things like maintaining perspective, and part of that is, focusing on gratitude. We just had Thanksgiving, right? And so just being able to focus on the good things in our life is a huge one. I won't drain all these. There's things like focusing on emotional intelligence, problem solving. Self-care is a really huge one that I'm going to review in a slide here. Having strong relationships. So we have them basically on the life plan choose which 3 of these they really want to focus on. And again, they did that at the end of resilience. So it's kind of a refresher and pulling it all together on Wednesday. And so I'll deep dive onto 2 of the 10 characteristics. One is gratitude, which I just talked about. We are asking them a specific question about how they can practice gratitude daily, because there's just a ton of research that says that that's one of the quickest ways to completely change the perspective that you have. We all have kind of a negativity bias for a reason, right? If we're going through life and we're driving and someone cuts you off in traffic, that could be something that's dangerous, right? So we're always looking in life for those things that could hurt us, which is great. But when we don't intentionally shift that and focus on our gratitude, especially as teenagers, if some of y'all don't have teenagers, they are not the most grateful people as a group. So we have them practice this. And so we're going to ask you on the life plan to help them come up with not only some gratitudes, but also how can they practice gratitude on a frequent basis going forward. The other resilient trait that we focus on is self-care. And this is just more of a reminder. I think we took out the question to have them actually focus on self-care. So if we have time at the end when they're done with their life plan, this may be a good one because teenagers, you can imagine if you don't have teenagers in your house, or if you remember being a teenager, it's hard to limit that sugar, right? It's hard to get the amount of sleep that they need, which is more than 7 or 8 hours. Honestly, it's more like 8 to 10 for teenagers. And also gratitude fits into that with the being mindful piece. And then of course, moving, just getting that activity is always good. So that's kind of our 4 quadrants on the self-care. And then we get into an exciting section about money. And so what's interesting about money is that we don't just teach the skills in terms of here's how you do a budget. We start with the limiting beliefs that people have about money, because it's can be kind of a shutdown for people to even start to think about doing a budget, right? A lot of people think that they're not good at math. A lot of people think that they're not good at managing money. And so we really spend a lot of time breaking down some of those limiting beliefs, like my family's never had money, why would I? That's the limiting belief. On the green side, that's the empowering belief. With a money mindset, I can build wealth. Or you can kind of see some of the different examples of a limiting versus an empowering belief. And they've all learned these in detail. And then we flip them and have one slide reminding them about some example empowering beliefs about money. And so we're going to ask them on the life plan if they can just name their one big empowering belief about money. For some of them, it's I will be a millionaire. That's a fun one. And then we actually have them write that on the life plan. And then we kind of go through our, method. We just remind them of our methodology on the money mindset in terms of saving, investing, doing it monthly, avoiding some of the financial pitfalls like lottery, store loans, credit card debt, etc. And then having compound interest work and enjoying the process. So this is just a reminder slide. And then this was kind of some details that they went through. And then this is a quote page. I don't have this animated right. I will reanimate that. But this is basically, we're asking them the question of, what was one quote from the class that really resonated for you that you're going to live by? And if they already have a life quote, I did not have one as a teenager, but sometimes teenagers surprise me these days. So they're more than welcome to do their own quote, but we're just giving them some of the top examples from quotes that they learned this semester. And we'll have these all printed out for them and for you. Oh, there's 3 pages. I didn't know there was that many. And then at the end, we actually are going to have them take a post survey. We work with a group called Agile Analytics that works with SEL programs in school systems. And they've helped us create both a pre-survey and a post survey to just kind of measure the change, mostly in mindset, honestly, rather than necessarily detailed content questions. It's more about how has your mindset changed about your future and your success and all those sort of things. So we'll take, this is a simple question, maybe 5 minutes. We'll have them take that at the end. And then without further ado, and I'll get into questions here in just a second, stop the recording. This is the life plan. So it's 1 page front and back on cardstock paper. The questions are really simple. What are your life goals? That 6 in the upper right of that box, that just means, hey, volunteers, that's on slide 6 of your packet. So if they what categories of life goals are, you can help flip to slide 6 and say, for life goals, one of the life goals is career goal. Does that help refresh you? And you can kind of talk them through that. And then the next one, top 3 values. Oh, let's flip to page 10 of this handout that I as a volunteer have. Oh, here's the values list. Let me help you remember what your values are, if that makes sense. And so that's really how this is going to flow. I know that these numbers are out of order, but hopefully you'll kind of be able to just flip to the right pages. And some of them are on the same section here with money. So I will stop there. And again, I will have printouts of this whole PowerPoint. The students will have a hard copy, hard stock of the life plan that they'll fill out. And y'all as volunteers will have a version that looks like this, that's actually got the slide numbers on it for you to reference. So I will stop the recording there. 1 second.